All right, what is going on, everybody? Donnie Rouse here, and welcome to Your One Life. I have got an inspirational story that I wanted to share with you. This was something that kind of came into my mind yesterday, and I woke up this morning thinking of the same thing. So I wanted to come on here and share it with you because I believe that if you are struggling with something, if life seems like it is a dredge, that by listening to the story, you may come away with a different understanding and see, or maybe come with a different realization that you have the ability to change everything that's going on around you. So let me ask you a question. What if all the struggle you were experiencing in life was the result of how you were using your mind? How might that change how you saw whatever you were struggling with? And let me ask you a different question. What if everything that was going on around you was for your greater good? I want to tell you a story about my grandfather that I was told by my aunts and uncles after he had passed away. So in Italy, where my grandfather was born, he had worked as a cabinet maker and carpenter. There he had owned several properties and life was comfortable. He was very generous. He would go to the cafes, he would buy coffees or drinks for the entire crowd. And then one day, one of his brothers moved to the United States and called him. He said, "Hey, Philip, come over here. Life is going to be great. We can start a business together." And my grandfather, loving his brother, decided to move his family, to sell his possessions, and to move his family across the globe to start a business and to have a better life than he had, which was kind of ironic because they had a good life in Italy, but to have a better life in the United States. I really do believe part of his move was his love for his brother. He gets to the United States and he was living with his brother. I'm not sure about the details in between there, but one day he came home and he realized that the door to his brother's house, his key no longer worked. Unsure of what was going on, he hid into the bushes, only to find that his brother came in, opened the door with his key, and went right in. When he knocked on the door and approached his brother said something along the lines of, "I can't talk," and closed the door, and then my grandfather's family was shut out. Now, to dramatize this even further, this was my grandfather had, I think he had three different kids there. Like I think two of my aunts stayed in Italy, and three of the kids were, what do my Francis? Zio, yeah, I think three of the kids were here, right? To dramatize that even further, four of the kids were here. Sorry, I had to think about that. And so just to dramatize that, to imagine having your wife and four kids and then all of a sudden being shut out and what you had to do, and you had to figure it all out. Working for himself, he was working in a building and he was on a ladder and someone had turned the lights off, I believe, and he ended up falling from that ladder down several floors and injuring his back. Probably, well, like, worthy of getting a very, very big settlement. He hired a lawyer, and that lawyer ended up taking advantage of him to the point where he got pretty much nothing for the injury. As a result of that, my grandmother had to go and clean bathrooms for a living to support the family. So you can see all of this stuff that happened that was part of the life drama that many of us experience, maybe in a very, very completely different way. Years pass, and his children get older, his children get married and have his grandchildren. And now all of a sudden he has this beautiful family surrounding him, all of this love surrounding him. Later on his deathbed, I believe it was like my father and my aunt was by his bedside, and one of his biggest regrets when he was dying was that he left Italy. And it had to be super jolting because when I was thinking about this when I woke up last night and then when I woke up this morning, it was because he couldn't see the beauty that was in his life as a result of the hardship that he'd experienced. As a result of him coming to the United States, as a result of everything he went through, he now had this giant, beautiful family that was closer than any family I've ever seen and filled with love. And all of this was a result of him coming here. So for him to regret that, it was just, it helps you think of how do you view the problems in your life? How do you view the big regrets in your life? And what might be the greater blessing that is present in all of that? You see, there's a quote, and I don't recall who said this. They said, life, um, something along the like it's all a game. Like what part of life is a game? It's all a game. It's all a game. When you realize that it's all fun, that what you experience is simply what you attach to a moment. All of a sudden now you start to take back the reins of your emotions, your day, your power. And then all of a sudden life starts to become more playful. Now I'm oversimplifying this because it is very, very easy to say this, but in reality, life can be pretty difficult, right? We all are going to face some significant challenges in our life, especially with the loss of loved ones. But it's only natural. it's how life happens. We have this false belief that life is supposed to be without any friction, without any challenges, but it's not true because those challenges are what make us grow. So I don't know where you are. I don't know what challenges you're facing, what your aspirations are. But I do believe that everything that you're experiencing, those aspirations you have, were given to you divinely. And that all the challenges you experience were also given to you divinely. But it is your job not just to keep in pursuit of that, but also to find the blessings every single day in those challenges. Because that is where life is happening. It's not a matter of getting to that destination saying, okay, here I am, I've conquered the mountain. But it's who you have to become in the process of doing that and realizing that it is all a blessing. It is all a gift. If you would only just stop to take that moment, to bring some awareness into the moment, you would realize that it's true. That life is there to serve you. Life is there to support you. So let me ask you a question. What is one thing that you are dealing with now? One thing you're struggling with where it just feels so overwhelming? And what gifts, like if you had to project out in the future and your mind is, the first thing your mind is going to say, like, nothing, there is absolutely nothing good about this. But you're staying in the present right now. There's good in everything. It's yin and yang. Life has a way of balancing itself out. If we were to look out into the future, 5, 10, even 20, even 1 week, right? What are the gifts that this experience is bringing you? Sometimes that gift can just be resilience. Sometimes that gift be just to deal with something hard. So this way, all the other stuff and give you perspective on life, because that's a result of going through this thing. Everything else seems minute. What are the gifts that are bringing, or maybe it's your self-discipline, knowing that you have to be more disciplined and you have to buckle down and you have to charge forward. What are the gifts? There's gifts in everything. List 3 of them. And then what gifts are in your life right now? Sometimes you become so focused on the problem that you forget that there's all these blessings around you. And those blessings could be what is currently in your life, the people that love you, and just the sheer fact that you have woken up to see another day. Whenever I do my morning journaling, when it's warm out, I go outside and I sit there and I'll journal I'll journal for 10 minutes. And one of the things I do if I'm doing the gratitudes part of my journaling, one of the things that I'll do is that I'll just say, I am grateful for today. It feels like, and sometimes it feels like a cop out because I feel like I'm always putting that. I'm always putting, oh, thank you so much for today. I'm grateful for today because it's a new day and I'm alive. But the truth of the fact is, every time I write that, I am actually very, very grateful for it because it brings my attention back to this present moment, back to the realization that I was gifted another day to be alive. It's so easy just to wake up and to go through the motions, to go into your day without ever acknowledging that you're alive. You get another chance. And the fact that you're here means that you can start over again and again and again and again to keep moving towards whatever it is that you desire, but you're not going to move towards that blindly. You're going to acknowledge all the blessings that are currently in your life. So to go back to the beginning, the reason I told you the story of my grandfather was because it hurt me, my heart hurts to think that he could have gone through his life thinking or believing that he did the wrong thing, living in regret that he brought his family here without recognizing all of the blessing, all of the gifts that were given to him as a result of him coming here, as a result of the hardship that he had to go through. Because that is, and again, I'm projecting, I don't know what his final thoughts were, but I could only assume one of the worst things we can do in life is to get at the end and not just regret. Well, I mean, regret is that's a bad one. That's a big one to swallow. But to look back and just not acknowledge all the gifts and not have the perspective to realize that the entire time we've been divinely guided. The entire time our life has been full of blessings. Again, what do I know? I'm here alive, and I think once you go through an experience, but I'd like to believe that everything in life is a gift if we are willing to look for those seeds of that gift. I don't know of any other way to approach life. And again, it's easier said than done, but it's work that you must do. So to give you a little bit of homework too, I know I'm getting a little bit repetitive here, but to give you a little bit of work to do, what is one thing that you're facing right now? What are 3 things? Write them down on a piece of paper. What are 3 things that you can be grateful for as a result of these experiences? They're there. Don't say there's nothing to be grateful for. They're there. Number 2, how will this benefit you in the future as a result of who you are becoming? Maybe it'll make you stronger. Maybe it'll make you more courageous. Maybe it'll make you more compassionate. What is it going to give you that you could apply into the future? And then lastly, with these gifts that were given to you through this adversity, how will it change your life going forward? When we could recognize that life is giving us the tools to live happier in the future, it becomes easier to deal with what isn't right in front of us. So I hope this story benefited you in some way. I hope it gives you a little bit perspective on your own life, not just so that you don't regret the challenge that you are going through, but also so that you recognize the beauty, because the beauty is present every single moment, so long as you choose to see it. I hope you enjoyed this episode here. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. And I will be here again to share more inspiration and just perspective on life. So this way you could remember that life is happening now, that there's not a single moment to be wasted. Yes, you have your aspirations, your goals that you're driving for, but it doesn't negate the fact that this moment is one of beauty and that you are alive. So I hope you enjoyed this episode here. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. God bless you all, and I will see you on the next episode. Remember, you only get one life. Live fully, live passionately, and most of all,